cost of doing nothing is the idea that we're going to go back to where we were years and years and decades ago when it was just considered de rigueur that you could just send these horses to slaughter.
This generation just simply won't tolerate not taking care of the athletes. When you look at the greyhounds, when you look at the circuses, and rightfully so. I mean, we need to be focused on these athletes throughout their entire careers.
I think for years, quite honestly, the industry buried its head in the sand. And I think now they are more than willing to not only talk about it, but to do things about it.
Oh, I think it's vital. And I think that it's a key component. And I believe without it, the industry would be in more difficulty than it already is.
I mean, when I was working at Suffolk Downs, the slaughter truck used to show up every week and they put horses on there, and they always used to say they're going to a riding academy in Maine. And eventually it occurred to me that really wasn't where they were going. And we can always go back to the dark ages.
Well, really, it kind of evolved from a conversation about the need of protecting and taking care of our athletes, both at the races and their post-racing careers. And from that conversation, we've built up a lot of awareness throughout the community. And from there, it went through an educational process. And from the education, we took action.
It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing. It is a specific, direct, and significant, authentic response to that very reasonable concern.
A big part of it is just realigning everyone's thinking and seeing what we need to do to help protect and take care of our athletes, whether it's an obligation, whether it's a business decision, whatever it is, it comes down to these horses need our care all throughout their lives.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses and we really care about what happens to them later. So I think the TAA is probably the most important thing that's happened in the thoroughbred industry in the last 10 years.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country, and giving away almost just under $25 million, $24.5 million. And that sounds great, but that's probably just a dent in what we need to do.
10 years ago, it was a small effort at best. Now it's significantly larger. We need to get even larger still, but it is a rational and authentic response to the concern of the public, and frankly, concern to anybody that loves horses and the sport of racing.
Everybody knows we can go to one source for grants. We can go to one source. If we have a horse at Old Friends that looks like he can go on to a second career, we can call one of the groups that's accredited and they can go on to a second career. And it's just been fabulous that way. And it's really reduced the competition among the groups for the dollars because the TAA is so good about getting the money and distributing it equitably among all the groups that get accredited. And it's to get people to unite instead of competing with one another to get grants and get horses and get money. So.
I think 30 years ago you would have thought, oh, it's impossible to achieve a real authentic response with regard to that concern, but it's not. And if you really run the numbers, we have a ways to go, but we're not as far away as I think most people think, and that's been very encouraging.
People do care, and people do think about it now, and we encourage people in our owners' conferences that we have. When you're doing this and getting into it, come up with a business plan and think about what you are going to do to provide for your horses when they can't race anymore.